Well, good afternoon, everybody. We're working down in garden field number 4 here, turning the soil, adding compost, breaking up the big chunks here. As you can see, Doro there has just brought another load of compost here, and Andoy is helping to break up the chunks here. I'm going to give this over to Beth here, so she can do this. What I'm doing is I took the end of a cultivator, a garden cultivator tool here, and of course welded it to a rod because the wood stick of course broke, back to the sun, or else you're going to get shadows.
You're dark there.
Well, it shouldn't be. Probably because of my hat. And what I'm doing with this, as Doro dumps the compost in here.
Yeah, one more.
Yeah. I'm mixing it in. And then of course removing all the junk that's still in here, and you can kind of tell how dry the soil is.
Hawa pagsi. Hawa dia. Kainit.
And try to mix this in good and break up the chunks.
There's a worm there, Daile.
If I let this sit all during the dry season and then did this in the fall, it would be one solid chunk. I like breaking it up a couple of times during the dry season to kind of aerate it, help the decomposition, and we still get a little bit of rain during the dry season here, and that'll just help with the soil being so loose. And of course we all kinds of garbage in here, and that we're going to get one more load, and you kind of got to go through and weed this and get the weeds out of it, because they'll root again. So I like to get as much of the weeds out as I possibly can, because a little bit of moisture and it'll all weed out.
Too hot.
Okay, up at the end up there, yeah.
Hey.
Hawa dia langga.
So this pretty well kind of mixes it up enough. And then when I'm done with that, I like to, here, Doro, give me the shovel. I like to go through and pile it up.
binit. Yung humay kuskus.
What that does, kind of cake the dry stuff in the middle, put it up on top here. Now we got 2 good planting rows, and we'll leave it sit like that. Like I said, we got no water, so we're not going to plant. It'll just burn up in the heat. So we'll leave it sit. The little bit of rain that comes will hopefully keep it loose, and the water will now soak in as it's still decomposing from the compost. So I'm out of breath, but that's kind of what I go through in redoing my garden rows here. And of course this is where the beans were planted in both these fields here.
What you gonna plant here?
Nothing.
No, what I mean next,
Oh, we'll probably go with beans again, because that's why we got the fence here, so that we can put the bamboo sticks up and it'll actually crawl up the bamboo, and then along the fence, like you saw this last growing season, worked out really good, and we had a lot of production off of it. So that pretty well winds up, but this is what we do in every single field. When we get everything set, we actually hand dig all the way down the row, turn it over, and you'll wind up with a lot of big chunks. And that break that up into smaller pieces, put the compost on, mix it up, and that, as you can see, the dark and the light. And then I like to take the stuff from the sides, which is mostly the old stuff, and put it on top, so that moist stuff down in there hopefully stays a little moist, you know, even though the sun's really going to dry it out. And like I've said previously, if we could water all year round, wow, it would be such a miracle here. We could grow crops in that all year round. But I'm going to say goodbye for now. This lets you know kind of the cycle now of preparing the garden fields for the next planting season. So like and subscribe. Goodbye to everyone, and God bless every one of you.